Hi guys, welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. I'm sorry I'm doing this a little bit later than I would normally do it, but I'm going to be doing a review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'm going to be doing episode 4 now. So the scene started with Melody and Tiffany. They were just sitting down having a little chat or chit chat as we call it. And so Tiffany was basically saying to Melody that she had fun at the party and that she thought like everything was going well with her and Kimmy. And everything was good until Stormy walked in. Now, if you guys did not watch the last episode, I encourage you to watch it because Stormy basically just came in and just changed the whole dynamic. Like, girl, she's working overtime for that to stay on Love and Marriage, it seems. I don't know why she'd want to stay on Love and Marriage. I guess it has its benefits in terms of fame, but financially she's doing really well. So I don't really understand why she's sort of, I guess, ruining her brand as such. I guess she doesn't have much of a personal brand the way the others do. And she has more of a brand in terms of a hair care brand, which is not a personal brand. So I think perhaps that's why she's so like laid back about just showing up and doing what she's doing, if that makes any sense. I would suspect that if she had a personal brand, she would be a little bit more careful about how she conducts herself. But one thing I also noticed is most people show up when they feel like they have something to prove. They show up with a little bit of fire, just wanting to start all sorts of drama just to stay on the show. So I wonder if that's what it is. Or maybe that's just her personality. Who knows? I guess we'll find out if she stays on long enough. Anyway, so Tiffany brought up the fact that the kids were not at the book signing that her and her husband went to, right? So if you guys don't know, Martel had a book signing. He was writing a children's book. And he had a book signing and Melody did not bring the kids because it was during Melody's time. So essentially, Mattel was all up on that and talking about how Melody didn't bring the kids and blah, de blah, de blah. Anyways, Melody was like, Mattel told her quite late. She believes he told her, I think, 2 days prior to the book signing. But also there was a death in the family and the kids had to be, spending time with her family. She also brought up the fact that, it was during her time and, you have to teach people how to treat you. It's just like I said in the last review. If you guys didn't listen, I would encourage you to listen because I personally think like it's one of those things where let's be honest. If your ex treated you as badly as Martel treated Melody in the last season, would you be eager to do any favors for him? The answer is no. And to allow the children to show up to this event that he decided to put on her weekend is pretty much a favor, let's be honest, because he could have put the event on a date that was his weekend. Because the thing is with court dates, what you sort of have a plan in terms of like when you're going to see the kids. So let's say this is your week, next week is her week or whatever. So you could have literally pulled out a calendar to see, okay, this is not my week, let me put it in my week. But he chose not to do that, even though that would have been something that he could have done. He chose not to do that because he was trusting and figured that Melody would do it, or he was trying to make Melody look bad. Now, because I've seen this sort of behavior from Martel this last 2 seasons, I will not be surprised if it was done intentionally to try to play victim because he knew Melody would not bring the kids and he wanted Melody to look bad. Anyways, that's my little 2 cents. You're allowed to agree with it. Leave that comment in the comment section below. Anyway, so they proceeded to talk about Tiffany's marriage. And I think this is the first time we've seen Tiffany really open up about her marriage prior to Louis. And she was basically talking about how she made the wrong choices and that she basically was chasing money and a lifestyle that her ex-husband could not give her. She also talked about her ex-husband being her soulmate. he's passed on, from what I gather from the conversation with Tiffany and Mel. But it sounds like she definitely has regrets because of the way she treated him. She talked about, him being just so, so sweet and, so loving to her and just loved her so much. I think it's probably a case of the man loved her so much, she probably did not feel the same thing. And she was like, I'm ready to continue to be broke with you, so I'm a head out. But good on her for being open and honest about her truth, whatever that was, even though, to be completely honest, most people will probably bash her for it. It's like you're openly saying that you left a man because he didn't have enough money. Like, I ain't saying you a gold digger, but you ain't messing with no broke. Okay? So that's what it sounds like, basically. Anyway, so over in the next scene, it was Kimmy and Tisha. So Kimmy finally invited Tisha over to the house, right? You guys, if you guys watched the reunion, you know it was some mess, right? And Kimmy was asked whether if Tisha wasn't family, would she have been friends with Tisha? And she said no. So anyways, Kimmy was trying to do some cleanup by trying to explain to Tisha what she meant at the reunion. She said that, normally once she has an argument of that sort with her friend, she'll be done after that. There is no back and forth and going back to friends after arguments and things like that. And to be honest, it sounds like they were able to hash it out. I think it was probably best because they're in the family. You'll probably have to get along and all that stuff. I know for me, in the family, even when there are people that I don't particularly want to be around, I sort of maintain a cordial relationship just so we can all coexist without any issues. And I think it's probably one of those ones, if that makes any sense. Anyways, then Tisha basically started talking to, asking about how the honeymoon was. So Kimmy and Maurice went on a honeymoon, right? So Kimmy was basically talking about how lovely it was and how blessed she is to have a man like Maurice and how they know how to have fun and, they don't have to do too much to have fun. Apparently, they just pretty much ate, slept, drank, and it sounds like they had like a really, really restful holiday or honeymoon, Kimmy also brought up the fact that Destiny and Tisha did not show up to the pajama party, or I guess we're not invited to the pajama party, but good old Kiki, Tisha's cousin, was there. So Kimmy basically mentioned to Tisha that at the pajama party there were a lot of conversations about her. And Tisha seemed shocked. She was shocked that Kiki was there in the first place because she didn't think Melody and Kiki were good. Also, she thought herself and Kiki were in a good space, right? Good place, everything was good. Not knowing that, perhaps all, how was not rose and glitter, really. Anyways, on the other end, it was Maurice and Misso. They were usually just having a good old conversation about just how the honeymoon went for Maurice. And Maurice was talking about how Kim was a different woman on the honeymoon. He was basically alluding to the fact that they had more sex. And Mercer was like, yo, what you guys do in the bedroom, you ain't got to be telling me. And I agree with Mercer for the first time ever. Like, I don't want to be picturing my sister-in-law having sex with you. Like, there has to be boundaries. You don't need to be telling me about all of that, man. So I agree with Mercer on that. Guess who walked into the bar when they were having this whole good old chat? Louis walked in. So everyone greeted each other. I was surprised they actually, Maso and Louis, actually, sort of, it was a bro handshake. And I was like, okay, I guess they decided not to be fully petty after all. So Louis basically said to Maso that, they came at them a little hard at the reunion. Maso was like, yeah, hard but fair. I was like, okay. Then Louis basically was saying that, you said some things that did not have substance to it, blah, blah, blah. Maso was like, you haven't earned the right to share your opinion about my marriage. I'm like, okay. You don't know enough to speak about my marriage. I'm like, okay. okay. The part that got me in this conversation was when Maser said, who the hell do you think you are to be talking about my marriage? I'm like, ooh, okay. Maser was basically saying that, essentially, if we ain't cool like that, you ain't got to be telling me, you ain't got to be sharing your opinions about my marriage. How dare you say my marriage is a bad marriage if we ain't cool like that? We don't have that relationship. We don't have that relationship for you to be telling me your opinion about my marriage. And so he just basically said, essentially, as a general rule, he doesn't feel like anyone should give advice about his marriage. And I hear what he's saying. Because at the end of the day, Tiffany and Louis came from nowhere all of a sudden and started having opinions about everybody. Like, bro, you can have those opinions, but you ain't got to say them out loud. Just keep them to yourself, especially when it comes to marriages. Marriages are really sensitive. So it's important that if you ain't got that relationship with that person, keep mind the business that pays you, please. Just mind it. Anyways, it sounds like they went back and forth and hashed it out. Now, is it just me, or I was expecting Louis to have more of an energy? Because that day he was there piping up with his wife, talking about, I like that. You know how I am. Da 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 da. Like, okay, bro, now bring the energy when you're in front of this guy. You're not bringing the energy. And it's like, I ain't there for all of that. Like, what is going on with that? Anyways, it sounds like they hashed it out. So Maurice then basically was asking Merceau whether he would be apologized. And this was after Louis apologized and they hashed it out, right? And he was talking about how Merceau was a prideful son of a bee. Merceau eventually, after, I guess, much persuasion, apologized for being excessive. I was like, okay, all right, cool. Next scene was basically Mattel and his manager talking about healthy meals and how he's doing a cookbook. I'm just like, okay, I'm not trying to hate on Mattel's new ventures. I really am not. But I'm struggling to understand how it all fits with his brand. Like, first there was the naked photo shoot. Then there was a children's book. Then there's a wine. Then there is a cookbook. It's like, okay, brother, what is going on? Like, I don't see the vision. Like, what is it that you're trying to do? Like, I appreciate the fact that, you're trying to dip yourself in different pools and all of that. But it just seems like you're doing any and everything now. It's like, what next are you going to be doing? Like, first, I don't know if you guys remember when Mattel literally popped into the hair salon, Destiny's hair salon, with some products. Like, Mattel, what are you doing? Like, I would suggest have a sit down and really think about it. What are the things that I'm actually genuinely interested in? Or am I just jumping from adventure to venture to venture because I'm really trying to gather the coins? But who knows? Also, I did notice, I feel like Mattel is trying to clean up his act. He's really trying to clean up his image this season. He's really trying to play the victim role, but I'm falling for it. I can sense what you're doing and I'm not here for it. So goodbye, Mattel. Anyways, it's going to take me a while to warm up to Mattel after the way he treated Melody. Like, nah, I ain't here for that. I just don't think women should be treated in that way. Like, point, period, blank. I don't care. Melody's attitude, whatever. I don't want to hear it. Anyways, over on the other side, it was Stormy decided to take Tiffany out for a date to talk things out and chat things up or whatever. And so Stormy was basically saying that, she wants to get to know Tiffany outside of the ignorant comment that she made. I'm just thinking, okay, Stormy, if you're trying to get to know someone, maybe like pipe down a little bit because this energy is a bit much, honey. What is going on? Anyways, it sounds like, Stormy eventually apologized. And then there was a point where Stormy was trying to get to know Tiffany, right? So Tiffany starts going on and going on and going on. And she just kept rambling and talking and talking and talking. It's like, sister, pause for a second. Like, see if the person you're talking to is listening. She did not even, it's like, okay, Tiffany would say something, at least let her get a word in and respond. No, she would say something else before she could respond. It was just like she just kept talking at Stormy. Girl, I was like, I even felt bad for Stormy. I was like, even I zoned out. The difference is I wouldn't say that out loud. I would just look and smile and nod. And hopefully at the end of it, she would know that I'm not paying attention, okay? Well, Stormy said it out loud. Stormy was like, I'm not even going to lie. Those last few sentences I zoned out. I'm like, girl, you literally said it out loud. I think Stormy is probably just that person that says what she thinks. She has no filter whatsoever. She doesn't think through what she says. She just says it. It's like, I don't care how this is gonna go. This is how I feel, so this is what I'm finna say. And I think that's just the energy she gives, you know. But it was then seeming like they started bonding, because then they started talking about, so Stormy did IVF, so Stormy was sharing a little bit about her IVF journey, how she no longer wanted kids, how her pregnancy was really, really terrible, and you know, she went through a lot. She went through, trigger warning, tears, and she went through bleeding and all these things, right? So it seemed like they really talked about it and bonded on that. And then Tiffany also talked about, you know, being a mother and how she wanted another kid, and all these sorts of things. So it sounds like they really bonded about that. You know, Stormy even asked her questions about her family and how she was adopted and all of these things, right? So it almost seemed like they were bonding until towards the end of the conversation, Stormy basically just dismissed everything and sort of just insinuated that, you know, they're just seeing how it goes, as opposed to we're squashed, we're good, you know, let's move forward. So I don't really know. I do wonder if it's his editing in a way, but it just seems like, I don't like the way Stormy is being portrayed or is portraying herself. Like, girl, if this is how you're really, if this is how you really are, you really should do some self-reflection. Because yeah, it just rubs me up the wrong way. And I'm sure, like, leave a comment in the comment section below if Stormy rubs you off the wrong way. Like, now, one day I stumbled on her live and I watched it, and she seemed like a really decent person, but on TV, she's not coming across as that. So I do wonder, what is fiction, what is fact? But I guess the more we watch the show, the more we'll get an insight into exactly who Stormy is. I think newbies tend to try to come hard so they can stay anyway. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. Anyway, so the last scene, honey, Tisha walked into that bar looking like a snack. That body was looking right and tight, honey. She needs to give me those jeans, honey. Those hips were looking banging. That's all I can say. Anyway, so Tisha walked into black, was having a chat with her nephew. Then Kiki walked in. Now, for those of you who don't know who Kiki is Tisha's cousin, who was talking a little dirty about Miss Tisha at the pajama party. Now, in all fairness to Kiki, she didn't say too much, but she was sharing Tisha's personal business with the group, which I don't think is right. You know, you don't share anything your friend or cousin or whoever shares with you, with the team or with a group of people where most of them don't like this, you know, my cousin or my friend or whatever. If you must share it with someone, it needs to be someone that likes and has the best interest of my friend or cousin. Now, I still don't believe you should share it, but if you must, right? I don't think you should be going to a group of people that don't give a F about you chatting nonsense. I just don't think that's right. Anyway, so back to the conversation. So Kiki was basically saying that she didn't say anything in a degrading way. Anything that she said, you know, to Mel at the party wasn't in a degrading way. Tisha was basically saying that she thought they were good until, you know, until this incident. And then Kiki decided to flip things over, and she was like, she thought they were good until her and Marceau were talking to Mel and Mattel about her personal business. I'm like, ooh. It sounds like they both said things in the past, if I'm being honest. So it sounds like Miss Kiki's like, let me give you a taste of your own medicine. And that's what she did. Now, I don't condone that, but sis definitely chose violence on that point. But I hear what Tisha is saying, in the sense that Tisha said that this conversation happened 4 years ago. So it sounds like 4 years ago an incident happened, and now Kiki is paying her back for the incident that happened. Now, did you guys think, what kind of personal business did Tisha share with Mel and Mattel? I personally think Kiki, allegedly, please, this is my personal opinion, right? Could it be a drug issue? Because Tisha was basically saying that Mel and Mattel were going to invite Kiki over, and she just thought it was important to give them a heads up, as they were going to be hosting and allowing Kiki into their home. So that just made me think, what would concern me enough to give the host a heads up would probably be if someone had a drug habit. If someone had a drug habit, I would be saying, like, hide your valuables, because, she on drugs. You have to give them some heads up. Now, I might not say it like that, but I will be giving some heads up. So unless that's the case, then... But I don't think any one of them is going to spill the beans. So we'll wait to see if it is mentioned at the reunion at some point. But... yeah, I'm really excited to see what the next episode will be. The next episode is coming out, I believe, tomorrow or later tonight. So I will be doing a review for you guys on that one as well. I think overall thoughts on the episode, I liked the episode. I thought that it was enough. It gave us enough to go on with. I think I'm not really enjoying the scenes with Mattel. I do think that they need to find some sort of excitement, or he needs to find some sort of storyline for himself, because at the moment he's not really fitting in very, very well into the cast. Also, I do not like the energy that Mel is bringing this season. I know she's been through a lot, but I need more of the positive, fun-loving, exciting Mel that we saw. I'm not really getting that vibe from her at the moment. Miss Tisha, you have stepped up your game when it comes to the fashions, honey. Like, that body is looking right. So continue to give us the fashion and the looks, and that's what I'm here for. Essentially, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this episode, and make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. What are your thoughts in this episode? Was there anything that really stood out to you in this episode? Let me know in the comment section below, and see you guys later. Bye.